Everyone, we all have moments as a kid where you had like a really dumb idea or a really dumb funny joke, not that funny, where you want you to do like something threatening to school, at your school or to your friends, and to you, in your mind, you find it hilarious, but to all your friends, they're like, okay, is he being real? And should we be worried about this? Because it seems pretty real. A bit too real. Because today I saw a really good example of this poor kid where I feel bad for him on one side, but there were so many elements, there were so many factors in this whole story where I don't blame his friends or the school for being like, okay, he might actually be threatening the school with all the jokes he's making, which seem to be going too far. Because when you see the amount of airsoft guns and knives and the amount of testimonies from his friends being like, okay, he made way too many jokes about this, then yeah, you can sympathize with them on being worried. And I should mention, he apparently also had a kill list for all the people that pissed him off or just didn't make him happy. A full-blown list. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about, because the video of this poor kid has already come out. I saw like a picture of like the police going to his house and getting like all the arsenal he had, like all the weapons in quotation that he apparently had as well. I don't feel bad for already showing this video because, you know, the whole clip is already up online. It's not like I'm doxing him, but I do feel bad for like the amount of treatment he's getting right now, being like handcuffed with his being handcuffed to his legs, you know, being put in a jail cell, being treated like an actual criminal. And let me show like the actual, you know, arsenal that he had in his home that made the police get really, you know, worried about him, you know, like have him arrested. So you see the table, right? From our first glance, it does look, you know, like an actual, like real guns, you know. You have like knives on the left, on the right I mean, like a katana. But then if you actually like look into the guns, you realize at the end of each tip, they have an orange tip. Like the biggest sign that, you know, they're just airsoft guns, not real ones. And I did feel dumb like in the beginning, because like, oh my god, how does a kid have this many guns? I mean, it was in Florida, so, you know, that could be like one side, but like this amount in his own bedroom would seem like way too much. But then when you realize, oh, they're just airsoft guns, and they look pretty cheap, like made out of plastic, you're like, okay, that makes way more sense, you know, more justified. And then when you realize that, it makes you like, okay, should he really be arrested this far for just having like airsoft guns? Yeah, he made a couple of jokes that even his friends were like a bit iffy about. But when you go to a kid's house, you know, to his bedroom and pick up all this shit and, you know, treat like it's actual guns, like real weapons, like from a cartel, you're like, okay, it shouldn't be this bad, because it is just, you know, toy guns, it's just airsoft. I'm not sure like what the age limit in America is, or in California, for how old a kid should be if you have airsoft guns. Because even now, for just like an 11-year-old boy having this many guns that are airsoft, it does seem a bit too excessive. But at the same time, don't lay it out on the table like it's, you know, it's actually real guns, because it's not. I guess you could say, you know, there's like very early signs of, you know, being a psychopath as a kid, where you go from like airsoft guns to real guns, but then realize, right on the left, he has a fucking Dennis the Menace slingshot, like an actual toy weapon, showing that, you know, yeah, I guess, you know, he's a bit violent, you know, throwing shit around, you know, with a slingshot, but I don't think he's a psychopath. He's just like, you know, doing shit, you know, with guns, with airsoft guns. I mean, moving past that, there is some other bad stuff. Like right here, you have a kill list. I mean, yeah, it is the list, you know, full of a couple of names. And I imagine, you know, being a parent, seeing that, or being a police officer, you would be, you know, worried about that. But in the worst part, you know, that has a reason for the police to be worried about him, rightfully. It's like the actual, like, you know, like the samurai shinobi collection of, you know, katanas, swords, small knives, like very batshit crazy stuff. And I guess, yeah, you know, as a kid, it is, you know, a bit, you know, too much for having this much. But at the same time, the kids, the violence, they love cool shit like this. That sounds so gay. Cool shit. But then at the same time, who's buying this for him? Like, who's, you know, buying it online, clearly online, putting the address and putting the debit card information to pay for it? It's clearly the parents. I mean, some of the stuff looks like, you know, cosplay, like, you know, just fake stuff, like actual real weapons. But some of these are very clear, you know, actually like sharp objects with the intent to, they're made for like self-defense, but they don't belong, you know, to a kid, or they're not meant for a kid. But for some reason, the crazy parents of this kid, this poor 11-year-old, bought it for him and see no issue with that. And once you see it from that angle that I'm seeing it from right now, then you realize It is way more the fault of the parents, more so than the actual kid. Because if he has access to like so many knives and airsoft guns to the point that the kid can like bring over his friends and shoot them, which he did, then yeah, that's way more on your fault. Because the kid. The reason why the friends of the kid, the 11-year-old, was so worried is because they went to his house and the kid showed it off to all of them, being like, "Cool shit, I'm gonna bring this one right here to school tomorrow, to shoot it up." And some of those friends mentioned in this article I'm reading right now by CNN, they said like how they wouldn't show if it was actual real guns or airsoft, which the 11-year-old kid, didn't specify. And I don't really blame them. Some of them clearly, are fake, like this one in pale white and the translucent one in, cheap plastic. But those two right here, I don't blame them for a kid, for an actual like high school kid to mistake it for an actual gun. I don't blame that much. But for the actual knives, like this many, clearly meant to be concealed, like put in your pocket and bring to school. Like all these things make it seem like what he's saying is an actual threat, where he's concealing as a joke, lighthearted jokes, but then there's an actual desire in him to do these threats and carry it out and bring this list with him. So I don't blame him that much for being concerned about it. Again, you have to remember, there are kids. But then when you go back to the actual 11-year-old that, saw this whole thing, making the jokes, when you see the videos of all like the police officers, dragging him to the jail or juvenile, it makes you feel much worse for him. And the guy, the detective, I don't blame the sheriff. I don't blame him. He's doing his job. But when you watch the video of how he's talking about this kid and the parents being irresponsible, to be fair, that is true. He doesn't make a very strict kind of guy with his stuff. He takes it very, very seriously.
Since parents, you don't want to raise your kids, I'm going to start raising them. Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid so that everybody can see what your kid's up to.
Oh my god, he's pissed off. Dude, he could bite a pine cone in half before tension. But the idea of giving a kid a perp walk, that's insane to me. I'm pretty sure in most countries they don't let like this kind of stuff, like having a picture of a kid. It's a mugshot as well. Oh my god, having a mugshot as well. It seems like way too far. If you want the parents to get in trouble, show them. Any parent that buys the kid like that many airsoft guns, I don't mind that. Buying them that many knives and katanas, that's actually worrying. But at the same time, he's just a kid. I'd be more worried, if this kid for his entire life had unrestricted financial access to whatever he wants online, where the parents, they don't give a shit about him, or they're so lazy, they buy him whatever he wants, like actual weapons. Or once he's older, because it is in Florida, buy him an actual gun from online, because that's definitely possible. And then we're gonna show a picture of you, the parents, because you don't want your kid, Sheriff Chitwood's gonna raise them. Okay, I'm reading through this right now, and that's a pretty good point. If the parents are so lazy, to buy the kids actual weapons, then yeah, that's a pretty good job on his behalf for raising them. I don't know how you raise them by, putting handcuffs on their legs and taking them to jail, to take them to the station, but whatever, that's your parenting way. But yeah, overall, when I first looked up this story, I was like, oh my god, this psychopath of a kid, how dare he? But I realized, if you look at the picture, they're very clearly BB guns. Well, initially, I was tired, I was laying in bed, I was like, oh my god, they're real guns. How the fuck do they have this many guns? But I realized, oh, it's toy guns, yeah. The knives part, or all the katanas, that part, I can't really feel bad for him or the parents, because that's pretty bad. You can't really buy, toy knives, whatever. They're clearly real and sharp and dangerous. So that part probably looks the worst. And that kill list, I'm gonna be honest, if I saw a kid write my name on a kill list, I'd actually laugh at him. I'll take the notebook and rip up the page and eat it, because it seems that funny. What fucking do with a kill list, you dumbass kid?